It's over between Manchester United and Pogba. No point beating around the bush. It's better to speak clearly, look forward and not waste time looking for people to blame. Paul is unhappy at Manchester United. He's unable to express himself as is expected from him. He needs a change of club, a change of scenery. He has a contract which runs out in a year and a half in the summer of 2022. But I believe the best solution for everyone is that he leaves in the next transfer window. Otherwise, United know well the risk of losing him for nothing, given at the moment the player has no intention of extending his contract. If someone doesn't understand this, they understand little or nothing about football. Don Hutchison, Stevie Nicol and Craig Burley with us. Craig, your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's crystal clear to everybody with a brain in their head that Paul Pogba doesn't want to be there. And quite frankly, that's shown in his performances. Ironically, this statement comes off the back of him, one, getting a start, and two, having a decent second half and scoring a great goal. But let's be quite frank about this. Paul Pogba and Mino Raiola have just been one huge pain in the butt to Manchester United. So, listen, I would imagine United would absolutely love to get rid of Paul Pogba. The problem is they're looking to recoup some of that cash that they laid out on him. And that's where the game of bluff is going to continue now over the next 6 months or so into the summer. Because, they won't want to lose him for free, but they won't want to let him go for a little money either. So it's a game of bluff now. But quite frankly, with all the other problems Man United have, then the last thing they need is this pair.
Don, where's it gone wrong for Pogba?
He hasn't played well enough, Dan, and all of a sudden now it feels like a little bit cowardly that he's trying to jump ship. That's if this is the truth that's coming from his agent, because Bruno Fernandes now at Man United is the top man, and all of a sudden Pogba doesn't seem as though he's up for the fight, because I was at the London Stadium in the first half and he was terrible, but he weren't the only one. Second half he put in a very good performance, a Paul Pogba performance where he sort of drove from midfield and scored a good goal and United win the game. But I think it's just a reoccurring theme when his agent keeps talking about Paul Pogba not being happy, wanting to leave every 5 minutes. And I 100% agree with Craig. I don't think Man United fans will be losing any sleep whatsoever. And even the hierarchy will probably say, well, listen, it's time for him to move on. There's bigger, better players at Man United than Paul Pogba.
The problem with that, Stevie, is that he wants to get rid of him apparently in the next transfer window. They've kind of shown their hand already. If you're a club that's maybe thinking about buying Paul Pogba, you know they want to get rid of him. You know that Pogba wants to go. So no way you're going to overpay for him. And that leads to the question, in fact, who would pay any money for Paul Pogba at the moment?
Listen, I don't think we needed Raiola to tell us all this. And the funny thing is that whenever he makes a statement, he always makes it sound as if it's Manchester United's fault. Pogba's the guy that steps on the field, and regardless of how fantastic we thought he was going to be, he hasn't really shown any heart or determination or guts. And any football person in any team around the world can see that and know that if they're going to sign Paul Pogba, then yes, they're going to get it at a cut price because he hasn't done anything on the field to make anybody go overboard to sign him. Listen, teams will take him because, as I've said before, in a good team, he can be fantastic. So I wouldn't be shocked if somebody like Juventus came in eventually, but then the stumbling block there is Ronaldo. So it's not a surprise. It's Pogba's fault. And Raiola always tries to pin this on Man United when they've done nothing other than give this guy money and an opportunity.
And the big... Dan, let me just paint a picture here. Man United have arguably their biggest game of the season, two biggest games of the season coming up. Leipzig tomorrow, I believe, and the Manchester Derby at the weekend. Now, let's just take the first game first. Here we have this guy who is supremely talented, has won almost everything there is to win in the game. And yet, what do we think the chances of him starting are in Leipzig? I would say slim, because he can't be trusted, particularly away from home. And listen, people need to get this Paul Pogba vendetta out of their heads. Whoever's managed Pogba at Manchester United in their time there, Mourinho and Solskjaer, have been absolutely desperate for success, right? Mourinho was desperate to win the title at Man United, as is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because these managers don't want to fail. So they don't leave players out of the team because they don't like the individual, because managers don't think like that. Managers think about, what can he do for me? What can he do for this team? How can he save my backside from being on the back page of the newspapers again, talking about my job? And yet, time after time after time, under different manager, he's not been able to start. So what does that tell you? It tells you all roads lead back to the player, not the managers and not the club. So clearly, if Man United want to move forward, they just need to get him out and be rid.
Don, where's he going to go, though? That's the question, isn't it? Because Barcelona, Real Madrid are all in a mess at the moment, and I don't think Pogba is their priority. Stevie talked about him going to a team that's already settled. Well, that's Bayern Munich. They're not going to go in for Pogba either. PSG might not be able to afford him because of financial fair play. There aren't many doors open, you feel?
No, there's not. I mean, I would probably lean towards it being PSG. That seems a likely fit. The others across Europe, as you said, are in turmoil. I mean, Zidane's always sort of half stated that he would like him at Real Madrid, but they don't seem to have any money. So, you know, the agent must have a plan. There must be a plan in place. He must be speaking to clubs. He must be having the conversation, because to put that statement out now, as Craig said, just before a massive Champions League game and just before the January window, the agent must have a clue. He must have spoke to someone, and someone must be interested. The finances must be in place somewhere else, because that's a bold statement saying it's over, it's done. So I would probably think the state that Thomas Tuchel is in and PSG are in, where they seem to be going slightly backwards, they could do with freshening up. And maybe just Paul Pogba back in France might be the best suit. He might be the best fit.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.